from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, this is the national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. My name is Siobhan Pereira.
And I'm Shainali. Let's have a look at the headlines first.
Population and housing census for the years 2023 and 2024. Expeditious assessment on appeals and objections pertaining to USFama welfare scheme. Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe assumes duties as chairman of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. An operational and monitoring committee over the restructuring of the cooperative wholesale establishment. Former President Maithripala Sirisena pays 15 million rupees out of the compensation ordered by the Supreme Court over the Easter Sunday attacks. Turkey to support Sweden to obtain the NATO membership.
The national television has won the award for the best international news reporting at the Asia Vision Awards 2023 held in Kuching, Malaysia.
And for more news here at home, we have the government has decided to conduct a census of population and housing in the country for 2023 and 2024. The relevant Gazette notification to conduct the census was issued by President Ranil Wickremesinghe as the subject minister. This will be the 15th census of population and housing to be conducted in the country. The census was scheduled to be conducted in the year 2021. However, it was postponed with the COVID-19 pandemic. The census will be conducted under the 4 stages, and the necessary mapping in this regard has already been completed. However, Sri Lanka United Grama-Niladhari Association said that the Grama-Niladhari officers have faced various issues in conducting the new census. And State Minister Shehan Samasinghe says the consideration of appeals and objections pertaining to USFama program will commence swiftly.
The time period extended to submit appeals concluded yesterday. The State Minister said that district secretaries will commence assessments of 968,000 appeals and 17,500 objections received for USFama to make accurate determinations. In a tweet, the State Minister said that the process will be carried out in a transparent manner, ensuring that everyone's grievances are heard and addressed. He added that the government will ensure that all deserving individuals who require assistance will be included. The USFama Welfare Benefit Scheme will include them as well. Remarks in this regard were also shared during the media briefing held to announce the cabinet decisions today. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that there are more than 600,000 of the selected 968,000 appeals have been made by individuals who are benefited from the welfare schemes. He said that they have submitted appeals claiming that the benefits they received at present are insufficient and expecting more benefits through this scheme. He said that the statement, which claims that the 968,000 have been exempted from the Samruddhi benefits, is baseless. He added that only close to 300,000 have been additionally included into the list, aside others who already receive benefits from existing schemes. The Cabinet approval was granted to pay the welfare allowances to all three categories who are already obtaining benefits up to now. Until senior citizens, the allowance, those suffering from kidney diseases due to unidentified circumstances, and differently abled persons who have applied to obtain welfare benefits under the program are defined and based on more suitable criteria and suitable measures. The relevant resolution was furnished by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe has been appointed as the new chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. He is a veteran in the telecommunications sector.
Dr. Samarasinghe received the appointment letter from Minister Bandula Gunawardena today. Subsequently, he assumed duties as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. As a past student of Nalanda College, Colombo, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe received his bachelor's degree in first class from the University of Muratua. He then obtained his doctorate on telecommunications engineering at the Australian National University, Australia. In addition, he has also completed Level 1 and a Level 2 certifications from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka while securing Island First rankings. He has served as an executive director for Lanka Bell Limited and affiliated institutions. Dr. Samarasinghe also served as the chairman of the FITIS Federation of Information Technology Industry, Sri Lanka. Furthermore, he has served as a member of boards of directors in many leading private companies, including Hatton National Bank PLC. In addition, he also serves as a member of the Sri Lanka Insurance Regulatory Commission. Dr. Shao Fung, a member of the team, arrived in the country to explore the rock formations similar to Mars. Said that samples obtained from the field work in Sri Lanka have been sent for further studies to accurately determine the origin of the rock formations.
Now, the focus of the study, jointly conducted by Japanese, Chinese and Sri Lankan researchers, was to investigate potential similarities between certain rock formations found in the Uva province and those found on the planet Mars.
And Dr. Shao Fung, from the University of Mining and Technology in Beijing, made these remarks in an exclusive interview with the national television.
A pleasant day and a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to one of the most exclusive interviews that we conduct through Rupavahini. As you all know, we were aware about certain types of rocks that were found in Mars were found in Sri Lanka as well. To talk about some of the insightful areas and to question and to clarify any related matters regarding the findings in Mars, we invited Dr. Shao Fung to conduct an interview with Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. So welcome, Dr. Shao Fung. Thank you very much for joining with us. So since 2016, there were certain research work, as you mentioned. It's not just 1 or 2 years. So how can you share the experience regarding your research work?
So Sri Lanka is very important. In about 5 to 8 billion years ago, it was at the center of a supercontinent. It's called Gondwana. So because of the important location, my PhD supervisor decided to put me to work on this area to understand the important history.
With regard to your recent findings and research work, how do you feel about the collaboration between China and Sri Lanka?
Luckily, I think China and Sri Lanka has a very good relationship since the last decades. When I started working in Sri Lanka, I started in 2014, and that's already China, Sri Lanka has established good relationship. So I did not have any problem with my visa. It's very convenient, and also people are very welcoming. So I had all through very good experiences and very accommodating hospitality.
So recently we studied and we came to know about the rocks, the type of rock found in Mars, now found in Sri Lanka. Can you just reveal us something more about those stones, the serpentine stones which were meant to be?
So 2015, when I did fieldwork with my collaborators from China, Japan and Sri Lanka, we accidentally found some ultramafic rocks along the eastern tectonic boundary of Sri Lanka. So it was a good finding because those ultramafic serpentinite is very important for the early evolution of planet. So for example, my colleagues who work on Mars, they care a lot about serpentinite because serpentinization process is one of the first process that turns inorganic matters to organic matters to produce methane, which is the simplest organic compound in the universe.
So when something found in Mars, found in Sri Lanka, so there might be a certain sort of a significance. So can you just briefly explain us the significance of those stones?
So the reason people find it important is because so far it's still very hard to directly work on Mars. So people use terrestrial, which means Earth, example as an analog. So we study this example in Earth and then try to compare that with processes in Mars.
So through those findings, are there any specific insights that you can share with us?
So most of the serpentinite rocks in Sri Lanka is still under research, but I published a paper in 2016 point out that those serpentinite has formed by carbon dioxide metasomatism, which is a process that has this these gases and fluid comes from the deep earth in the mantle that produced fluid to make the serpentinization happen. So I carried out a 3 weeks field excursion this time in Sri Lanka. So the aim of this time is not just about serpentinite. So Sri Lanka is also one of the most important places that has underwent very, very extreme conditions in Earth's history. So very, very high temperature, very high pressure as well. So my aim for this research is to try to understand how this happened at that time. I would like to thank everyone in Sri Lanka, including my collaborators, giving me this great opportunity to study and research in Sri Lanka and feel accommodated in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shao Fung. So we had an insightful discussion with you regarding the subject geology and the recent findings that we were able to find from Sri Lanka. And thank you very much for joining with us with this exclusive interview. And we wish you all the very best with your research studies, and may you help Sri Lanka many more in the future. Thank you very much.
And in the meantime, Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena says a large number of buses are operating in northern, eastern and north central provinces without permits. And the police and the National Transport Commission has instructed to take stern legal action against such buses. And the minister made these remarks responding to a query raised by a journalist regarding the bus accident occurred in Polonnaruwa. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that this bus has operated without obtaining any permits from the Sri Lanka Transport Board. The permit owner has also been penalized by the courts in 2019. The minister said that this individual has repeated the same offence yet again. He said that many complaints over such offences have been received, and he has requested the Attorney General to make necessary provisions to amend the National Transport Commission Act and increase the existing penalty for such offences from 10,000 rupees to 500,000 rupees. He also said that the Commission Act should be amended pertaining to three-wheelers, school vans and staff vehicles. He pointed out that a large number of buses are operating in northern, eastern and north central provinces without permits. The police and the National Transport Commission has instructed to take stern legal action against such buses, the minister added.
The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal to appoint an operational monitoring committee to carry out the restructuring of the cooperative wholesale establishment. Now the relevant proposal was furnished by Minister Nalin Fernando. Taking into account the fact that the desired objectives establishing the cooperative wholesale establishment have not been achieved and the establishment is not contributing effectively to the economy of the country, the need to restructure SATOSA has been recognized. Approval of the Cabinet of Ministers had been previously granted to select transaction consultants for Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, Canville Holdings Private Limited, Hotel Developers Ceylon Limited and Litro Gas Ceylon Limited. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval for the proposal submitted by the President to them to enter into relevant agreements. The relevant proposal was presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Cabinet approval was granted to select International Finance Corporation, member of the World Bank Group, to function as a specialist advisor for Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka Telecom and Lanka Hospitals PLC. Approval of the Cabinet of Ministers previously granted for enrolling the 7th batch under the interest-free student loan scheme to undergo undergraduate courses in non-government universities. The concurrence of the Bank of Ceylon and the People's Bank has been expressed to implement this loan scheme, maintaining a minimum loan scheme of 13% for the entire loan period. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the proposal submitted by the Minister Susil Premajayantha to implement the interest-free student loan scheme for the students who have accomplished the prescribed qualifications as per the result of advanced level examinations held in 2019, 2020 and 2021. Portion of purchases 45 land located in Sir James Peary's Mouth, Colombo 2 has been given to Sri Jinaratna Educational Institute for educational purposes on an annual rental basis for a lease period of 99 years. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Minister Prasanna Ranatunga to grant that land to the Governing Council of the Institute. It has been proposed to sign a joint declaration of intent between India and Sri Lanka to achieve the goals of improving the quality of dairy products in Sri Lanka, making the country self-sufficient in milk production and increasing the income of small-scale dairy farmers. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the combined proposal presented by the President and Minister Mahinda Amaravira to sign the joint declaration of intent.
And in the meantime, Indian Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Quatra met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe during his official visit to Sri Lanka this morning. And the meeting took place at the Ministry of Defence. The meeting focused on enhancing bilateral relations and working towards future economic and social goals that would benefit both countries' populations. During the meeting, President Wickremesinghe briefed the Indian Foreign Secretary on the government's reform program aimed at strengthening the country's economy. He also acknowledged India's continuous support as a neighboring ally during the recent economic crisis. Additionally, they discussed President Wickremesinghe's upcoming official visit to India and the planned activities during the visit. The presence of Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, added to the significance of the occasion. In another development, Indian Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Quatra also held discussions with President's senior advisor on national security, Sagala Ratnayaka.
Now, former President Maithripala Sirisena has been instructed has paid 15 million rupees out of the 100 million rupees compensation determined by the Supreme Court for violating fundamental rights by failing to take action to prevent the Easter Sunday bombings, according to the court's correspondent. The relevant payment was made according to a verdict issued by the Supreme Court on January 12th. In a motion filed through his attorneys with the Supreme Court, the former president has indicated that a portion of the overall compensation has been made to the Easter Sunday attack victims fund maintained by the Office for Reparations on June 28th. The former president, through his motion, has requested to pay the remaining sum of 85 million rupees in 10 equal installments commencing from June 30th, 2024 and ending on June 30th, 2033.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says the speedy implementation of official language policy would enhance cohesion in the multilingual Sri Lankan society. He made these remarks addressing the Symposium of National Languages Equality Advancement Project in Colombo today. The project has been initiated with the aim to reduce poverty and improve economic and social equality of Sinhala and Tamil-speaking communities, strengthen the implementation of the Sri Lankan official languages policy, and enhance cultural diversity and bilingual nature of the country. The project has strengthened gender-sensitive bilingual communication skills of public officers and improved the capacity of 74 sub-national institutions with the development of language plans. High Commissioner of Canada to Sri Lanka, Eric Walsh, and Director of National Languages Equality Advancement Project, Michael Emblem, were present at this occasion.
Kpop World Festival 2023 Sri Lankan edition, organized by the Embassy of Republic of Korea, was held in Colombo recently. The Kpop Festival provides a platform to exhibit the unique talents of Sri Lankans who have been selected under the categories of Best Kpop Dance and Vocal Performances. The annual cultural festival has been organized to enhance the knowledge about South Korea in Sri Lanka and enjoy the talented performances by Sri Lankans to K-pop music. A number of participants featured at the event to compete amongst each other to enter the final round of competition. A panel of judges, including a popular musician and choreographer, selected the best performances of the event. Mr. Viduru Vikramanayaka, an ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Sri Lanka, Myeon Lee, graced the occasion. Also, state officials, members of the South Korean community in Sri Lanka, and local K-pop enthusiasts were present at this occasion.
Amadi Rana Singer. Here for Rashmi. Winner, Kpop World Festival qualifying. Could you please put your hand together? Let's hear. We'd like to wish qualify and make it to the K-pop.
Sri Lanka and Korea has been having trade ties as well as cultural ties, especially on Buddhism. We have to strengthen these relations, not based on purely on economic aspects. We have to strengthen the human fraternity. For that, the bridge is culture. We have been bridging with dollars, sterling pounds, or whatever the denomination with the other countries. But it is high time that we bridge hearts and minds.
It is very inspiring and encouraging to witness the appreciation by Sri Lankans for Korea and the Korean culture. Hallyu fan communities in Sri Lanka are a testimony to the love shared for K-pop. Reflecting on this expanding interest, the adoption of the Korean language in Sri Lankan academic curriculum is an impressive feat. I hope to provide more opportunities and create more spaces for learning and promoting Korean language and culture throughout the island so that everyone from all corners of Sri Lanka can come together to enjoy Korean culture. The Korean government is committed to pursue cooperative public diplomacy in Sri Lanka and in the Indo-Pacific region.
And in the meantime, State Minister Anupa Pascal says the ultimate goal of the USFama program is to create an entrepreneurial state. He expressed these views today during a press conference themed Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the Presidential Media Center. The State Minister said that the government launched the USFama initiative in response to a persistent social criticism. The Samudi movement selection of deserving candidates was said to have involved a number of anomalies, he added. The State Minister said that the opposition specifically alleged that the Samudi initiative lacks a social empowerment system. He also said that the Social Welfare Board put the USFama scheme into effect as per President Ranil Wickremesinghe's directives, and he added that the settlement program is a non-political, open process. Both appeals and objections may be submitted throughout the same process, and it also covers the annual procedure of admitting the qualified and removing the ineligible, he further added.
And with that, we go into a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
And welcome back after the break, and more on news away from home. We have heavy rains are continuing to cause havoc across northern India, claiming at least 20 lives since last Saturday. The bad weather has drowned trees, flooded homes and closed major roads in several states. Today, Delhi was put on high alert for flooding as water levels in the Yamuna River rose to dangerous levels. Officials have since relocated thousands of people living near the riverbanks to safer locations. Residents living in other vulnerable areas have also been told to prepare to be evacuated if needed. India's weather department has warned that heavy rains are expected to continue in the region well into the weekend.
And Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan yesterday agreed to forward to Parliament Sweden's bid to join the NATO military alliance, appearing to end months of fuss over the issue that had strained the bloc as war had raged in Ukraine. Sweden and Finland applied for NATO membership last year, abandoning their policies of military non-alignment that had lasted through decades of Cold War in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. While Finland's NATO membership was green-lighted in April, Turkey and Hungary are yet to clear Sweden's bid. Stockholm has been working to join the bloc at the Alliance's summit in the Lithuanian capital of Vilnius, which begins today. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg had convened Turkish President Erdogan and Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson for several hours of talks on the eve of the summit, as he sought to finally break the deadlock. The statement issued by both countries said Sweden had reiterated that it would not provide support to the Kurdish groups and would actively support efforts to reinvigorate Turkey's EU accession process. After Hungarian authorities confirmed that Budapest would no longer block Sweden's NATO membership ratification, Turkish approval would remove the last hurdle for Swedish accession to NATO, applications for which must be approved by all members.
Welcome back after the break, and on sports news we have the two-day practice test match between Pakistan and Sri Lanka cricket. President's 11 began today.
Now the match is being played at the Suryavev International Cricket Stadium in Hambantota. Batting first, Sri Lanka cricket President's 11 scored 196 for their first innings. At close of day's play, Pakistan was 160 for the loss of 3 wickets. Pakistan is engaged in a tour in Sri Lanka for 2 tests. The first match will be played at the Galle International Stadium from the 16th to the 20th, while the second match will be played from July 24th to 28th at the SSC grounds. Meanwhile, Wanintu Hasaranga has been named as the ICC Player of the Month for the month of June. Sean Williams of Zimbabwe and Travis Head from Australia were the other nominees for the award. Wanidu Hasaranga has picked 26 wickets in the month of June.
Prima Kotumi, Fantamai.
And that's all news for tonight here at Rupavahini Corporation. Until we meet again tomorrow at the usual time, I'm Shainali signing off with Shevon Pereira. Good night, everybody.